Okay, we are live. So hi everyone, welcome to our Chat to a Champ. I'm here with Brodie Summers today, one of our moguls athletes, and he is very excited to get on and start answering some of your questions. So Brodie, just to start off with, you want to give us a bit of an update? We spoke to you in September, I think it was last. What have you been up to since then?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, thanks for having me. We have not had the best, unfortunately. I actually managed to, at the end of the Australian ski season, which has meant I've spent more time at home in after having to recon the ligaments. Yeah, just been days and days later, after 2 times a day, pretty much all day long, and just rehabbing and working towards getting myself healthy for the Olympics.
Awesome. Okay, so we have questions today from 3 different schools, from Our Lady of Help Christians in Brunswick in Victoria, California Gully Primary School, also in Victoria, and also Parra Meadows School in Wollongong in New South Wales. So they've written you some great questions, so we'll get stuck in. The first question is from Zane in Parra Meadows, and he wants to know, what is your favourite place to ski?
That's a pretty tough question, actually, because ask that question, I can give 2 responses. The first response is where's my favorite mogul course? Most places I go, I pretty much only ski 1 run, and that's the mogul course. So that's probably in Deer Valley in America, in Utah. My favorite place I've ever skied is probably a resort also in America called Telluride in Colorado, and we finished a competition and we had an afternoon to go ski around together and just have fun. It's one of the most powerful memories I've ever had skiing. It was just awesome. The terrain was really, really cool, rich, dry powder, steep slopes. So yeah, that's definitely a really cool place to go.
Awesome. All right, so our next question is from Shelby from California Gully. She's going to get straight into it. She wants to know, how did you damage your knee?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yep, so this question's from Shelby. She wants to get straight into it and wants to know, how did you hurt your knee?
How did I hurt my knee?
Yep.
I actually wasn't doing anything. Unfortunately, it wasn't from a big spectacular crash or anything like that. It was the first official training day for the last competition of the season, the Avon Mogul Challenge, that one that I was telling you guys about. And I was doing my second training run of the day, feeling down the course, thinking I could be on for a good event here. I'm feeling pretty confident. And I did a backflip to one, and I landed normally. As soon as I hit the ground, I just felt it kind of explode underneath me, and I was in the medical center being told that I'd done a bit more damage than I'd hoped.
Right, okay, well that kind of works into our next question, which is from Nicholas from Our Lady of Help. He wants to know, how do you pick yourself up after disappointment, I guess in your case from that injury?
I think the best thing to do when you go your way is automatically reset. You've got something to work towards. I think the hardest thing in the world is if you like, for my knee, the hardest part of it was the first probably, where I had a doctor, I hadn't got an MRI, I didn't know how bad it was and what I could do and what it was going to do to affect. But the moment that I got actually done and we put a plan in place for recovery and rehab happened, I felt way better again. So I think, yeah, if the best thing to do is and have targets that you need to achieve, and then as long as you've got something I think you'll be in a much better space of mind, and you'll just every day, and you'll have the motivation to get out of bed and do what you need to do.
Awesome. All right. Well, maybe you can kind of answer this in Dakota's question, which is up next, which is how often do you train and how long? So maybe you can run us through a bit of the rehab program that you're on at the moment.
Could you repeat it, please?
Yeah, no worries. So Dakota wants to know how long you train for. So maybe at the moment you can kind of run us through your rehab program a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, sure. At the moment, I basically Monday to Friday, and I go between 9 a.m. and 11 to 11:30. I'll do a strength session, dunk myself in the ice bath, and get a little bit of recovery. And then I'll come home, have a quick bit of lunch again, and then I will go back to the gym a couple of hours. And at the moment, it varies a little bit. Sometimes I do a conditioning session, which could be on the bike. I can't actually go on the bike at the moment, which is a little bit sad because I love the bike. But train, and so yeah, usually a conditioning session mixed with some rehab activities for my knee, and then another ice bath. I'm usually doing 2 ice baths a day at the moment, so and then I come home and ice my knee again and get a nice hearty meal in at night, and I'm ready to go again the next day.
Awesome. So lots of ice baths and lots of icing and fixing that knee up as best we can. So Neha from Our Lady of Help wants to know, how do you stay motivated and focused knowing that the Olympics are only 93 days away?
Just generally? Sorry, what could you? I missed the last part of the question.
That's right. So the Olympics are 93 days away. How do you stay focused and motivated?
Just generally, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you keep your motivation levels nice and high?
I guess similar to that question I answered before. It's just having goals and objectives that you want to achieve. So it's, for me, like just to use the knee, and because I knew what what was possible and how it was actually possible for me to do and still get bakes. At that point, it was like, okay, whatever I do between now and then towards that. So it really just comes down to how much you want it, and I know I want to go with part of me wants to go. So I think it's just having those really big objectives that you want to achieve. It's just like a carrot dangling in front of you, and every day if you lose a little bit of motivation, or you think, oh, I've iced my knee too many times, I don't feel like going to the gym, I'm sore and I'm tired, then all I do is just remind myself that the clock is ticking. There's only 93 to go before the Olympics, and I just tell myself that whenever the motivation starts to dip a little bit.
Awesome. Now, you touched on this a little bit before when you were running through your daily program. Charlie wants to know what kind of food do you eat at the moment? What's your nutrition like?
What kind of food do I eat? I usually start the day with a bowl of porridge, and I have some strawberries and some nuts and bananas sort of chopped up and crushed up in there, and go through that, and I have a coffee, and sometimes if I'm still feeling a bit hungry, I'll have a couple of pieces of toast, and I'll take myself off to the gym. And then for lunch, my scrambled eggs with a little bit of salad, and then for dinner, but basically anything that has a good balance of carbohydrates, protein, and veggies. I'll eat most things. I'm a bit of a foodie. I just love things that taste good. So as long as it gets the tick of approval from the team nutritionist as well, then I'm all good.
Awesome.
I'll go after dinner too.
All right. So Vincent from Our Lady of Help wants to know. This is a great question. How do you feel when you put on your Australian uniform?
What about the Australian uniform? Sorry.
How do you feel when you put on your Australian uniform?
When you put it on,
yep.
It's really special feeling. The first time I ever got to wear, back when I got in the Australian team, it was an all-white ski suit. And I remember one of my best mates in my ski club that I trained in growing up, for us it was a race to see who was going to get to wear the white suit first. And the first moment I ever got given mine, I got to wear it, I was just so excited. And that proud feeling you get knowing you've got Australia on your back isn't something that never really goes away. And then when you get that really special Olympic uniform, because you know it's sort of it's a once off, and it's every 4 years. So yeah, I think it's just really, really humbling and fills you with a lot of pride, and makes you really want to perform well for your country.
Awesome. Okay, our next question is from Daisy. We're going back to the injury again. How did you feel when you hurt your knee? Can you run us through kind of some of the emotions that you had when you first did that injury?
Yeah, I remember it pretty clearly. The first thought was after, oh God, what have I done? Was how much time have I got, and damage, and how possible is it for me to get back in time for the Olympics? So basically, from the moment I hurt my knee, I was just running it and timelines for people that I know who had similar injuries in the past, and how long it took them to get back, and running numbers in my head whether or not it'd be possible for me to come back. And after I realized that it was, then I felt a lot better. The biggest feeling I had after doing it was just uncertainty, and that was a feeling I really didn't like, knowing how much effort I've already put in over the last few years trying to make sure I'm in the best shape for these Olympics, and knowing how badly I want to do well there. It's just the uncertainty of not knowing whether or not I would still be able to go. That was the hardest thing to deal with.
Yeah, right. Well, I know you talked about doing lots of ice baths before, but I've got a question from Miles from Parameadows. He wants to know, how often do you get to go to the beach?
How often do you get what, sorry?
Yeah, to go to the beach.
Oh, well, I mean, at the moment, unfortunately, the weather in Melbourne's pretty average, but once it starts to warm up, I'll probably do that a little bit more in between training sessions at lunch. I'll even substitute, because the water's still pretty cold in the bay in Melbourne right now, so I'll substitute some of those ice baths with the same thing, just like a lot of the AFL footy players do. It's just a bit of a nicer environment. You can go out there and get the same, and then you can lie on the beach afterwards as well and warm up in the sun. So it's I'll be going a fair bit more once the sun decides to pop out, whenever that'll be, hopefully soon.
It's a bit of a change from the very cold snow that you spend the rest of your year in.
There's a little sad of not being able to start the season, is that I get to, while the rest of my team is in northern Finland, not seeing the sun for 3 weeks, in the sun every day, hopefully, and hanging out on the beach in between gym sessions. So it's worse.
Oh, that's positive. All right, so next question is from Harrison, who wants to know, what is one thing that you're looking forward to at the Olympics?
The only thing that I really think about when I'm looking forward to the Olympics is feeling that you get right as you're about to push out and compete on your. It's just a feeling of, you know, there's a little bit of nerves, there's a lot of excitement, there's pressure, and it's that kind of ultimate cocktail of all these different things, and you just get up there and it just really fires you up, and it just makes you want to perform. So that's the thing that I'm for, and of course all the other things around it, the getting to watch other events, watch my Australian teammates eat learns and things like that. Once I finish competing, I'm really looking forward to that too. But the main thing that I think about in training and things like that is just that push out of the start gate, that feeling that I get, and how fit and strong I want to be for that.
Awesome. All right, another question kind of similar to the last one about before you compete. Jenny Lynn wants to know, how do you encourage and motivate yourself just before a competition? How do you get yourself fired up?
I guess, yeah, after a while you start to develop your own pre-competition routines. So for me, it's usually a little bit of music on the day of the competition in the morning. The right kind of music will help get me to an elevated state, and then before I get on snow, I really need to put a lot of, get quite vigorous so that I am ready to go and I'm feeling primed. And then like every competition, it's just from the competition itself. I've always been a really competitive person, and I love the thought of being able to go out there and, you know, have the chance to win, or have the chance to, you know, just do really, really well amongst my peers. And that kind of, it's that again, like a carrot dangling in front of me. It just makes me, competition in and of itself is really, really fun, and I'm just, I feel really lucky that I get to do that.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk in between training. Mitchell from Parramatta's wants to know, what's your favourite TV show? What are you watching when you're not in the gym?
My favourite what? Not at the gym?
Your favourite TV show when you're not at the gym?
I really like the show Suits on Netflix. I watch probably more of that than I should on a daily basis, but just that I'm always sitting on the couch icing my knee, so I need something to entertain me while I'm doing that.
So Suits is getting you through your recovery one episode at a time.
Pardon?
Suits is getting you through your recovery one episode at a time.
Yeah, or 10 episodes.
All right, so Dakota from who's in year 6 wants to know, have you had any other major injuries aside from your knee?
Sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Yeah. So Dakota wants to know if you've had any other major injuries apart from your knee. Oh, again?
Was it? I'm guessing it was leading towards, have I had any other injuries apart from my knee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's like talking in code.
Yep.
Yeah, I have. Actually, I had a bit of bad luck coming into the last Olympics as well, with quite a bad back injury. Which are the parts of your spine that go between the actual bones, the vertebrae. I had some pretty bad issues with those, and I was struggling to just sort of just sit normally like this, or even walking was really quite uncomfortable. So it meant after that year, after the Olympics, I actually had the whole year off, a bit more time in Melbourne doing a lot of and things like to basically fix my body, and happy to report that I don't have any back trouble these days. But yeah, back a few years ago when I had that, it was debilitating and really, really uncomfortable. So yeah, hopefully that's the last I'll see of that injury. This knee injury is the last I'll see of any injury, but the nature of elite sport is sometimes things go wrong, and it's about that. All it is after that is about how your recovery and how strong you can come back from it is the way I see it. So it's just part of the game, and deal with it from time to time. So it's just about how you approach it.
Yeah, we're crossing all of our fingers for no more injuries.
Thanks.
So some of the students at Parameadows want to know, how old were you when you first started to ski?
I was pretty young when I first got a taste of skiing. It was just before I turned 3. I would go to the snow with my family for 1 or 2 weekends a year usually, up until I turned, and all of a sudden it just became a really big part of our lives, and we'd go to the snow every weekend during the Australian season. I started going up there, and I was lucky. My mum came up to Mount Buller and lived with me for the ski. Do my schooling up at Mount Buller in term 3 and train as much as I could. And then after that, when I was 16, I think, I started training with the national team up in Wales, or the national development team.
Awesome. All right, so Skylar wants to know, will your friends and family come and cheer you on in PyeongChang?
Definitely. They wouldn't miss it for the world. They keep reminding me at the moment. There's another source of motivation for rehab. They keep telling me that I've got to put in 110% effort every day so that I'm at the Olympics, and they're there to cheer me on, not just my teammates. So, but yeah, I'll have my mum, my dad, my sister, partner, I think, and also my granddad is going to come as well. So he was pretty shy once, so he's making sure he's coming to these ones.
Awesome. All right, so the last question that we have is from Matthew. He wants to know, what are you going to do after the Olympics? What's your next goal?
After these Winter Olympics?
Yeah.
So the year after these Olympics, the following season, we'll have in Deer Valley in Utah, that mogul course I was telling you about, where World Cup podium. And especially after missing, because there's 6 or 7 World Cups before these Olympics, and I'm going to miss all of them because I'll be still recovering from my knee. So my first competition back will most likely be the Olympics. Mean that on the sidelines, feeling like I've missed out on a lot of competition, and I was just telling you how much I love to compete. I want to make up for lost time. So next year, training the house down and working as hard as I can, so that when World Championships come around the following season, I'll be in a really strong position, hopefully really well placed to do well. And then after that, I'm pretty sure I want to do 1 more Olympics after these ones. So I'll be working towards those.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you to all of our schools for sending in some fantastic questions for Brodie. I'm sure you've given him a little bit more motivation to keep pushing hard through his rehab and getting that knee fixed. Yep. Brodie, do you want to tell us what the next sort of 3 months look like for you for the game? So we'll chat to these schools again, hopefully from the Olympics.
Sorry, I just missed the end of that. What was that?
Oh, good. What do the next 3 months look like for you?
Okay. Yeah, so I've had a bit of a revised schedule compared to the rest of my team. So I'm in Melbourne every day until the first week of December, and I'm going to go to Japan, and we're gonna test out my knee back on snow there, and ski just on some groomed snow for a week to 10 days, make sure it's all good. And then I'm going to come back, do some water jump training. And so I'll practice some tricks into water with all my skis and stuff on, and make sure that my knee can stand up to that. And then I'll have Christmas at home for the second year in a row, which is pretty unheard of. And then right after Christmas, I think I'll be heading over to train and way back into the moguls. And then I will meet up with the team 2 weeks out from the Olympics in Colorado, and we will have our pre. Hopefully everything's going well by then, and then right at the end of January, I will head out to Korea with the team, and we'll be there, and we'll be not far away from competing at that point. We compete on the 9th and 11th.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
of February. So it's that's pretty much between now and then. That's everything's pretty well mapped out. He plays ball, and I keep putting in the hard work. I should be all good.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll let you go back to icing your knee probably. So thanks, Brodie, for answering all our questions today. They were fantastic. And our schools will talk to you again, hopefully live from the village in PyeongChang. So thank you. Give us a big wave. Chat to you again soon.
Looking forward to it. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks.